Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelly and I am absolutely thrilled today to be coming to you with an original tag. And I've been searching for a while just to make sure that someone hasn't already done this, and I can't find anyone else that's done it. So I'm very excited to get to start this, the L.M. Montgomery book tag. Now there was a really nice Anne of Green Gables book tag that's gone around, so go check that out. But this is different. This is the L.M. Montgomery book tag, kind of focused on several of her books, and L.M. Montgomery herself is short and sweet. There's only 5 prompts. So let's get started. My first prompt is, like Valancy from The Blue Castle, name a book with a character who starts living with a new lease on life, a life that they haven't gotten to experience before. And the first book with a character in it that came to mind for me, which is funny because she doesn't really get to have this new freedom of her life till the end of the book, is The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. And the character in that just gets to have a weight lifted off of her and start living her life is Helen. If you haven't read this one, Helen is the mysterious tenant of Wildfell Hall. No one really understands why she is so mysterious and reclusive, and we find out why. This is a book written in letter format, so it's very interesting. Definitely one of my favorites in the Bronte sisters world. So there's that one. All right, number 2, Matthew from Anne of Green Gables. And I know that some of you are thinking you should have just named your channel Anne of Green Gables BookTube. But Matthew from Anne of Green Gables is an amazing adoptive father figure. Name another book with a great father figure. It can be adopted, it can be an actual father, it can just be like a mentor type person. But I'm gonna say Silas from Silas and Marner. I did a reread of this like probably 6 to 9 months ago, and it just struck me how becoming a father figure changed the little girl that he adopted's life, but it also changed his so much. She became like the light of his life. Everyone in his life had betrayed him. And so he started to put value in money and gold and things. And becoming a father, an adopted father to this little girl, just changed him and how he saw the world again. I think it's lovely. I love that book. It's by George Eliot. The next prompt, in Magic from Marigold, there are some fairy tale-like elements. What is your favorite fairy tale book that, has a fairy tale feel or fairy tale retelling? With this, I'm going with one that is a recent find for me, and that's Wistress by Nadine Brandis. So this is a, recently created fairy tale about a young lady whose tears can grant wishes. And it was very interesting, the moral implications of this in this book. So I really liked thinking about those moral implications. I liked the world building of the story. I liked the character development. I enjoyed it. I definitely recommend Wistress by Nadine Brandis. All right, let's go to number 4. Sarah Stanley and the Story Girl is an amazing storyteller. Name a recent read that had great storytelling. And I am going to go with a recent read that I did called A Sorcery of Thorns. And it's by Margaret Rogerson. I loved the storytelling in this book. I enjoyed I loved the slow burn romance. I loved that books were characters in of themselves. They were creatures. Isn't that interesting to think about, that books have their own individual personalities, not just because of what's written inside them, but they are their own thing. I just liked the way it was written. I like the way the author wrote, so I definitely will be checking out by Margaret Rogerson in the future. And number 5, Emily of New Moon was a character that Ellen Montgomery related to. She had some similarities to Anne of Green Gables. Like, she was an orphan. She liked to write. She did have a good imagination, but she was more grounded than Anne. And Ellen Montgomery put a lot of herself into this character. What characters do you relate to in books? Is there a certain book? And I am going to totally cop out on this answer and say, I relate in little ways to All the Girls in Little Women by Louise May Alcott. And hey, let me know if you guys like this author style book tag, and I might pick some other authors. I'll see if someone has already done this with Louise May Alcott. But I think the one that I relate to in a lot of ways the most is Meg, because a lot of my satisfaction comes from being a wife and a mother. But I do have this slightly theatrical streak about me, like Jo. I was an actress, I was a ballet dancer on stage, and so my imagination can run absolutely wild. But I'm a little bit more serious-minded than Jo, like Meg is. Sadly, I can relate to Amy a little bit because I tend to have selfish thoughts and motives at times. I think we all do. And then Beth, she just has a, compassion for whatever is, weaker than her, whether it's a kitten or, people that are poor that she knows. I definitely am one of these people that I feel other people's emotions a lot. And I think that was a lot of Beth. So I relate to the March sisters a lot. I know that's a cop-out because I got to choose several characters at once. So now I am going to be tagging some bookish friends to do this. And it's so fun because just today I saw was announced a Montgomery May readathon that is being hosted by Tiffany and from Beautiful Minutia and some of her friends. And I was already going to tag 2 of the people that are hosting with Tiffany. So I didn't know that Tiffany was such a Ellen Montgomery fan herself. So I'm going to be tagging Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia, and then Dia from Novel Idea, who I know is obsessed with Ellen Montgomery and me, and Courtney Reeds, who's hosting with her, who I know is as obsessed with Ellen Montgomery as I am. And then someone else that I know just really loves the Anne series is Bethany Brings Books, so I'm going to be tagging her as well. And then since some of Ellen Montgomery's books have some middle grade qualities in the younger years when the characters grow up, I'm going to be tagging my 3 middle grade reading buds, Chatty the Mad Chatter, Bandana Book Mom, and Vidania Silver Scribe, because even if they aren't really familiar with all of Ellen Montgomery's work, I think that they could give amazing kick butt, middle grade book answers for these questions. And then because they are my Canadian booktube friends, I know that Lovely Day at Holly and Miriam Elizabeth have read Ellen Montgomery, so I'm going to tag those 2. And I don't know if Reading with Tatiana is a big Ellen Montgomery reader, but girl, you're Canadian. I have to tag you. So I hope you guys can do it. I hope you read a lot, and let me know what your favorite Ellen Montgomery book is in the comment. If you're not an Ellen Montgomery reader, just give me a little emoji. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.